Kelly Smith.
Here.
Gary Sutton. Here. Richard Irwin.
Here.
Marie Stuber. Diane Williams. Here. William Amon.
Here.
Joan Fargo.
Why not?
I don't care. Kimberly Young.
Here.
Okay, if we can stand for the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing on the agenda is a public hearing from the Margaretville telephone franchise renewal. And we have two folks, Glenn Faulkner and Cambria Tallman here from, did I say it right, Cambria? Okay. From Margaretville Tel, and this is a formal process that we all have to do. And before we get into it any further, I need a motion to open the public hearing, which is required.
I'll make a motion.
Second. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Okay, you know, the other two don't come. It's up to you.
Back and forth, though.
Yes, I guess I can make a motion too. So we have the motion on the Margaretville telephone franchise renewal. It's open. We'll open that to public comment if needed, but I will ask Glenn or Cambria to maybe explain a little bit what you're trying to accomplish here.
Good evening. Again, Glenn Faulkner at the Margaretville Telephone Company. It's been 10 years since we engaged in the initial cable franchise application in the municipality. And the requirement is somewhat of an outdated, in my opinion, outdated legislation, but because the focus is really on broadband and generally phone service, but the cable television franchise is a requirement for a provider to offer cable television services within a municipality. Back in the day, it was an opportunity for the municipality and the cable provider to negotiate certain services. Larger companies, there was some rate structure regulation. It provided an opportunity to determine which service, what areas would be serviced, and fostered a setting where those conversations could happen. For us, our focus was on broadband. Although we do offer triple play services, the business model in the rural area was important for us to be able to offer all three services. So hence, we wanted to offer cable television, and therefore we needed a franchise. The municipality back 10 years ago did not have a franchise, so we became the initial franchisee in the town, which required another step in the process. This is a renewal. It's been 10 years, as I mentioned, so we're renewing the franchise agreement. That basically allows us to continue to offer cable television services. So the only difference, the main significant difference is we are asking for a 15-year agreement. The Department of Public Service allows up to 15 years. Previously, it was a 10-year commitment. So just looking to extend that for another 15 years. Some municipalities ask for a franchise fee, which we currently do not have in place in the existing agreement. We propose not in the next agreement. And the municipality can negotiate up to a 5% fee on the cable television services to be paid back to the town. The provider has a right to pass that along to the end customer. So in my novice opinion, that's a tax. So we have left that out. We do not have that in any other of our franchises, except where we are in a municipality where there's another provider that is already paying that, a larger provider that's already paying that in the municipality. And a municipality cannot pay favoritism from one provider to another, so they have to be consistent in their agreement. But that being said, it's a process that we need to, as I say, go through, have board approval, municipal approval, The agreement then goes on to the Department of Public Service. They do a review to make sure all the i's are dotted, t's are crossed, and then 6 months down the road sometime we get formal approval. So in a nutshell, that's kind of what we're here for, but I'd be glad to answer any questions anybody has, not only on cable television, but for any other of the services that we offer.
No questions?
I do have one question. I've been with you guys for several years, and I love you. I've had absolutely no issues until recently. I've noticed that I'm in grad school, so I often have to upload video files for school, and I've noticed that the last one I did, it was a 30-minute video that I was uploading to YouTube, and it took me 6 hours. And I'm wondering if that's possibly because there are more people on the network now over in this area, or if there's...
Yeah, so I'm not aware of any issues.
Okay.
But if you give a call in, they have some visibility into the upload, download activity as far as speed and capacity, so they might be able to give you some guidance. So please give them a call, and they should be responsive and maybe give you some guidance on that, but I'm not aware of any other issues.
If I may, Carrie, you can use a VPN to bypass the roadblock, and you'll upload in like 5 minutes.
Interesting. Okay.
It's something throttling the network. So, just to let you know.
Any other questions, comments? You have one you wanted to mention about the franchise?
Oh, yeah, the letter we have here, you said the first one was for 10 years, and the letter says 15. Was
The
it 10?
existing was 10. The new, what we're proposing is 15.
Right, and it said the existing one that went into effect in 2012 was 15, that's why I was just questioning.
Okay, I was not good in that.
Yeah.
The existing one was 10 years ago.
Okay.
Now we're renewing early. Just a metric for an update. I think we've built out a significant part of the town with services, which I think is the good news. Midtel has a small segment of the municipality up by Leroy Road in the northwest corner. We have built out Cambria 65 miles and roughly have 400 active customers. So I think it's been a pretty good run in 10 years.
I just wanted to comment on the franchise fee, because I've been asked, and I've talked about it with some of the neighboring towns or in the county. And the first reaction is, why don't you charge them a franchise fee, bringing more revenue to the town? All that is a tax that you're passing on to the consumers in the town, because as a business, you're in business to make a profit. You certainly aren't in business to give money to the town and not get a return on it. So I just would oppose it, just like you say, most of the towns where you are in Delaware County. It doesn't make sense. So if anybody's wondering why I don't, I mean, this is a board decision, but I wouldn't support just adding another tax, you know, intents and purposes on our residents.
And thank you. Conceptually, the satellite providers don't have to pay that tax. Kind of puts us at a little bit of a disadvantage if we were charged that tax, and satellite guys or streaming services certainly don't have to. So that's the position we take too.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Well, the next step is to take a vote. We have to close the public hearing, if that's what it is. If we don't have anybody else bringing anything else up. Need a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And now we need a motion for us to accept the franchise agreement with Margaretville Telephone. I never thought of you as part of the Catskills. I was always Margaretville Telephone. But anyway.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. That was painless.
Thank you.
Almost worth the trip.
It was.
It was a beautiful day.
It really was. You I don't have time to do this now to sign it.
That's fine.
I can get it to you.
Yeah, that would be great. We can stop, pick them up, we can,
I'll call Camry and she'll tell me what she wants to do.
thank
And you
you.
have the resolution all ready to go?
Yes.
Well, we certainly appreciate the time, we enjoyed your relationship. If there's ever anything we can do for the municipality to be a good partner and a good steward of the community, we'd be glad to be.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thanks for coming.
Okay. Folks have the minutes from the May 9th meeting.
Privilege of floor, sir.
Oh, I am so sorry. Jump ahead. Apologize. Privilege of the floor. Did anybody sign up?
We had two names. Fred was first, and then I believe Michael was second.
I was just signing in.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Wrong.
okay.
That's
You
okay.
volunteered yourself to speak for 5 minutes.
No, that's okay.
Go ahead.
I can do that, but I'm not trying to be all that entertaining.
Go ahead, Fred.
I was wanting to reference item number E, the Conesville Town Park Use Rules Resolution that's going to be proposed this evening, and wanted to speak on some of the points that are in there. Specifically, I don't know if everyone here has read it yet. It was only sent out in the last couple of days, but there's no attachment here. I don't know if Carrie wants to read it. But the things that I felt should be for discussion, not for just passage, is campaigning. Whilst we don't want our park to become a place that's covered with campaign signs, and I agree that would be nothing we want. However, it is the only public area where people can gather that is not at someone's home, where if there was someone that were, say, running for town council or town supervisor or any position, it gives them an even place where they could say, hey, come down and meet me, I want to tell you my goals for the town or what I'm doing. And this resolution removes any ability for someone who may be running for any position in town to call people together, to say, hey, come down and see what I'm about, see what it is. Because inviting someone to your home, while that's okay, that can automatically give someone a predisposition on someone, whether good or bad. Being able to have a meeting place in the park that we all pay taxes for does allow anyone an even playing field, whether it be you or me or anyone in this room. We're all the same if we are able to use the town park to talk about what it is someone may be running for office. So the resolution has a stipulation that there's no campaigning, and while I don't want crazy rallies and things like that, no one wants to have things of that sort, I do think it could have stipulations for local election type things, where someone running for something locally could want to gather some people together rather than say, hey, come to my house, because that's a bit intrusive, and truthfully, you don't want people at your house and have to be like, oh my God, what are they going to think of my house and everything, because that's a whole stigma that you don't need if you're running for town council or any position. So I thought that that should be reviewed before passed as a resolution. There was another stipulation in there in the resolution that I read that said cigarette smoking is allowed, and alcohol and cannabis is prohibited. The New York State law dictates that anywhere that cigarette smoking is allowed, cannabis smoking is allowed, and technically vice versa. But I'm not a proponent one way or the other, but it either has to be both or neither. So that, whatever you want to do, I'm all for it. Neither is fine. I'm not a fan of cigarettes anyway, so they litter the grounds all the time. So feel free to say no to everything, but the resolution says no to one and not the other, and I feel that would fall afoul of the laws. And I wanted to bring that point to measure.
Okay. We talked about it, some of the board members and I, and we did take the advice of a couple of people that recommended that we do that, so in terms of the smoking. So I was trying to accommodate, I hate smoking, my mother died of lung cancer,
Exactly.
but I was trying to accommodate people, but I think in hindsight, probably it was a good idea to consolidate the prohibitions on those things into one area. So that's been changed. And there is a revised resolution that Carrie will read when we get to it.
Fabulous. Thank you.
So that's it, Fred?
That was all.
Okay, thank you. Now I will ask for an approval of the minutes from the May 9th meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Oh.
Second it?
All in favor?
Okay.
Any opposed? Okay. The assessor's report, do you mind reading it? Because there's an addendum that I need to talk to that she sent. Not a big deal, but I just got it at 5:58 p.m.
Okay.
So don't feel bad that you didn't get it.
I did not. Dear board members, this month the building assessment review was held on June 6th. We had one application mailed to us by an attorney representing the property owner who was asking for a very high reduction in their current assessed value, which the board denied. Two other owners and I made an agreement, and I presented those two as stipulations to the board, who concurred to the agreement. One of the stipulations was a substantial reduction due to the home having been damaged due to improper care after the owner was deceased. The home was full of mold and other damage. I will be meeting with Karen Quinn, Mark Loss, Bob Berglow this Monday, the 13th, to work on the plan for the 2023 reevaluation that is scheduled to be completed. If the board is not in agreement to complete the reevaluation, please let me know now. I also need confirmation that the board has agreed, previous to Mark retiring, that he would be compensated for his time to assist the 2023 reeval process. I will be doing quite a bit of road work for the reevaluation process. A friendly reminder about the board discussing the possibility about possibly increase to the maximum allowed income for seniors who receive the senior age exemption for lower income seniors. This will affect seniors whose Social Security increased over the allowable income to be eligible for the exemption. This will not affect anyone's exemption until 2024 rolls, but always good to be prepared ahead. Sincerely, Maurice Cooper.
Okay. Two things. One is about the seniors, a aged exemption for lower incomes. We already have this. Most towns and the county has it also. I don't think the school district does. But in any event, yes, I agree with that. I'm working on that. We have the 2020, the exemptions at 24. But I am working on that, and I'll get that in front of the board for consideration in the next month or two or three. But I'm working with the real property tax office at the county because and any one of the persons on this board might say, okay, what's the impact to the town if we do this? I will tell you it's negligible, but to the town, but it will be, I think, a benefit to those people that are in the very low income brackets. So I will recommend it. Of course, you haven't seen it yet, but I'm working on that, and I'll have a number of what the impact is from the real property tax office, so you can put it in perspective. But I do think it's a good thing. I'd have to pitch it out. This might be another month or two. And the other thing is, I have an email, like I said, came in at 5:58. I just have to check my email while I was in the other room. And he wants me to bring up in the meeting a motion that would be approved or disapproved by the board members so that it's on record that the board supports and approves the start of the reevaluation and the reval for 2023. This is when Karen and Mark and Bob, well, Karen is from the state, said I have to, and Bob has already done it with his board, but that's over in Broome, and have a second meeting on it because I guess he had some questions from a couple members of the board. Otherwise, the process will start in July with review of sales from 2018 to 2022, and then we're meeting again July 25th. So I don't know how formal we need to be, but it's okay with me. I mean, we talked about this, I believe, when Mark left, and he offered to do it, and she said, I would really like some help from Mark, and he's probably the best guy in the county to do that. So I'm not opposed to it. I mean, it's not going to be the full salary. We haven't even determined what the salary is, but I'm sure we'll do something that's amenable to him and to us. So can we do a motion, make somebody happy, that reaffirming what we've already agreed to?
Yeah, we can make a motion based on negotiations of the actual
Yeah,
dollar.
contingent dollar agreement, right, yeah.
Yeah, as far as that
To
goes,
be
yeah,
voted on
I'll make a
again.
motion then.
Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? Why am I saying that? Because I have All right, now I need a motion to accept the assessor's report.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. I guess I'll second it. All in favor? Any opposed? Code enforcement officers report.
Well, I've been working with Marie on trying to bring some properties into compliance that she's found that aren't in compliance. So we've been doing that. We've been doing that right along. We have 5 active enforcement situations going on. Basically, things that were constructed without permits in the past. Currently, we have 42 open permits. And actually, one of those 5, it'll be on next month's. I was able to contact people today, and I think we will rectify that next week. So hopefully, it'll be less than 5. This past month, we had 4 new building permits, 5 certificates of compliance were issued, 2 renewals, and actually 1 more, so it'll be 3. I guess that's on next month. 2 final inspections, a handful of pre-work inspections, a couple of no permit visits. Followed up on several of those complaints, issued 2 orders to remedy, 1 stop work order, and things continue to be, I guess, busy or busier than in years past.
Thank you. I know you're busy. 42 open permits is a lot.
Handful.
Yeah.
Okay. Motion to accept the code enforcement officers report.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Town clerk.
Hope I put my report in here. Here we go. We had 3 dog licenses that were paid this month, also 4 sewer district payments. So we're almost 100% on that. I think we're probably like 95% on sewer district payments. And 5 water district payments. 1 was a pay in full and the others were partial.
Okay. Motion to accept clerk's report.
Make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Diane, you're up. Is this your last one? We're not going to see you for a while.
I'll be here.
Okay.
Just nothing to report, hopefully. I collected $1,541,328.29. There are 142 unpaid tax bills. Made penalties were $1,103.25. And I had my settlement with the county on June 7th.
Well done. Another year in the books.
Is that?
Another year in the books.
Is that 142, is that about a normal number of
I
unpaid, or you don't know?
thought that we know.
Just inquisitive.
Okay. Need a resolution to accept
I'll make
tax
that.
collector's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. You could read Travis's.
All
We
right.
gotta get him here one night.
Well, right now, I think he's over at the park working on the community garden with all the kids, so.
I think he'd probably rather be here, but,
I don't know, he had fun, he had his tractor over there, so he's probably having a blast.
they got their dirt?
I don't know,
Oh.
I haven't been back over, but.
You're making noise.
All right, so this is the monthly update for the West Conesville wastewater treatment facility, their highlights in your sewer district to the previous month. The average daily flow rate for May was 3,130 gallons a day. We have completed the jetting of Bull Hill Road section of the collection system. We started at the top of the collection system and worked our way down in the direction of the main pump station. We had a septic hauler located at the main pump station cleaning out water that came in the pump station from the jetting line. He had advised me that he noticed some Sloughing, maybe? I don't know. Or similar to biofilm coming in the pump station when we first started jetting the line. He did advise me that he did not notice any grease coming in. Since the completion of the jetting, we have not had any issues with the pumps at the main pump station. We reached out to Fancher to check the status of the pumps, and they came down, pulled from the main wet well located in the plant. They took the pumps back to their shop, rebuilt because they're under warranty. They advised me that the pump rebuild has been completed and that they would be dropping them off the next time they would be coming into this area. They'll be pleased to answer any questions that we have and give the contact information.
All right, thank you.
I'll make a motion to accept that.
Thank you, Kelly.
Second.
Thank you, Lori.
Yeah.
All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried.
Just a quick question, what's with the road? They took up the new blacktop
Yes.
road?
I sent out an announcement on that earlier last week.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. They had about 1.25 miles, something like that, of road that the DOT, New York State DOT, said we could rip up, meaning contractor, because we needed to put pipes and things like that on sides, some going underneath, some were lateral cuts, some they did underneath without disturbing the road. But the deal was that they would resurface it. This is Evergreen Construction, Evergreen Mountain Construction. They did. They postponed it from fall. DOT asked that they do it in the spring. Okay, they did. Turns out, DOT looks at this stuff really close. And some of the asphalt, maybe 50% of it, that they put down failed. Wasn't cured at the right temperature at the plant. There's I'm not doing it justice because it's a lot more complicated than I have the ability to tell you what it is. However, so they condemned it. First the whole stretch, but then they came to an agreement that certain stretches of that, like basically from the Prattsville Road almost, all the way to just past the treatment plant, Harrick's house, is where it took place. There might be some on one side of the road, it's a problem, some on the other side, but it's been identified. They've remilled it, and by the way, the contractor was Peckham, and they agreed they messed up. Of course, everything is on them. Their nickel to rip up about 50% of that blacktop. I think it's 3 inches.
I figured something had to go wrong.
And then put a fresh 3 inches. I have a feeling DOT is going to be on scene, making sure that that is done correctly, because they haven't come to the town, so we're not exposed at all.
I just wondered, so.
But I mean, it's been a nightmare. They did a bad job with some people's driveways now. They say they took away I think it was 3 inches or 3.5 inches of surfaces there, but you can't keep building. Pretty soon you're going to have like a skyway. But they didn't feather out or put any material, so when you come out of your driveway, they're banging into the lip. We've got a number of those complaints. And there were some other complaints about the wrap-up that were very legit. I won't go into a lot of detail, but some of them included the pipes and the plumbing, not of the sewer system itself, but adjoining properties or adjoining water systems. So I told them, you guys, the contractor likes to cry. Well, it's going to cost. I don't really care what it's going to cost you. You should have done it right. So we owe them DEP owes them, but I have to sign off on it, about over $200,000 for the remaining work, or the work that they haven't done correctly. Told them, don't even contact us until you can show us that every last one of those things are completed satisfactorily. So it's the only leverage we have, and we're exercising it. And I have to say, Lamont has been very good working with us on this. It's not, I was mad because I couldn't believe the way the words that they used when they spoke to these guys. So I said I was going to give you the short version. I apologize. Okay, did we approve this? I think we did. Yeah, we did. John waited until.
Yes.
All right. Historian's report. How are we doing, Kim?
We're doing great. We started working in the cemetery, or we're going to. Sean is going to work on restoring and fixing some of the stones in the East Conesville Cemetery. we put out a public notice just if anybody has any information about that, the cemetery and/or has any questions or concerns about that work. It is the town's property, so the town can maintain it, but we just want to give courtesy to anyone who might be interested in it. So far everybody's excited that's happening, and there has been no resistance or no questions about that. And what was the other thing? The Historical Society met again tonight, and we're working on getting our federal ID number so we can formally accept members with dues, so information will be forthcoming about that. And I think that's all I have for tonight. I'm sure there's more, but yeah, we've done a lot of genealogical work and getting death certificates and things like that.
And thank you to Sean for what he's doing. That was an interesting tour that he took.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a quickie, what's to look at, but no, we were there almost an hour. It was pretty cool. And the one on Hubbard Road.
It's Conesville, yeah.
Yeah. So, and Kim was saying that we do have a list of, I don't know how complete it is, but it's pretty complete, but we especially know who the veterans are.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a complete list
Okay.
of veterans in the cemetery, because Schoharie County put out a book in the 1800s of all of the veterans in the Civil War and the Revolution War. So you look in that and it confirms everything.
Wow. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Need a motion to accept the historian's report?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? All in favor?
Aye. Make the motion.
I know, that's a silly rule. Any opposed? That's even sillier.
Can I say no now too?
No, you're in the books. Okay, motion passed. Okay, Bill, you're on.
I have actually two sections here. You have to excuse my voice, I've had bad allergies all month. We have posted signs in preparation for paving South Mountain Road in August. Probably some of you have seen them. Expect that there will be changes to that date. Usually it gets pushed out. Due to the inability to communicate during several snowstorms, radio repair came to the town garage and worked on some of the truck radios. We need them to return so they can look at the vehicles that were not there the first time. Durham, South Mountain, and Tolls Hollow roads were partially hot patched and seem to be holding up well. I have two guys that used to work for KCK Paving, and I took their total advice on how to do that. Potholes on some of the other roads were repaired with a crusher run. A new engine for the pavement roller has been ordered and received. Culverts and road surfaces have been somewhat repaired on Carlo and Van Aken. A lot of work taking place on South Mountain Road with culvert replacement and cross culverts clogged and getting the road ready for paving. A new cross culvert has been installed on Davis Road, another one installed on South Mountain Road, where we didn't even know there was one as it was completely clogged and buried. Every older steel culvert we have excavated out was completely rotted and leaking. And we have started mowing and cutting back the brush from the sides of the road. And the second part of my report, I also put down in writing because I don't want to go off on a tangent. And I want to preface it by saying that Supervisor Federici and the entire town board have been super fantastic regarding the highway department, their support for us, for me. Anytime I have a question, I get my answer. Anytime I need help with something, since I've been here in February, I get the help that I need. And they have been very, very good in helping me to do my job. And so this report comes with all due respect to them. I came to work today and one of my best operators informed me that he was giving his 2 weeks notice because he cannot afford the rate of pay offered by the town. This is a shame because my team has accomplished a great deal of work since the middle of April, and with the impending road resurfacing in August, he will be greatly missed. I do not hesitate to say that I think we have the best road crew that Conesville has had in the last 10 years. Everybody gets along, and more importantly, they get significant things accomplished. So let me be very clear, we are losing an excellent, talented snowplow operator, equipment operator, and mechanic who I don't think I'm going to be able to replace. Some of the work my crew has been able to do in-house, saving the town money, could literally pay for their raise. Supervisor Federici will be placing the ad back in the paper, so I hope we will get someone. The rate of pay for the road crew is unsustainable, and I cannot attract good people who will choose to stay. There must be a solution that is satisfactory to everyone. And that is all.
Thank you. I'll make a comment, and you told me that he's getting 26 an hour?
I don't quote me on that.
Oh, all right. But it's up there, it's in that neighborhood.
Exactly.
We can't compete.
I know that.
We just cannot compete with $26
Nor would I
plus
expect.
pennies. We put in place an incentive which equates to about $5 an hour, but you have to stick around to get it at the end of the period of time. So that puts somebody like him around $21 an hour. That's about where we would, I don't know what we can do in terms of better than that. I mean, they want it now, but then that takes away the whole point of the incentive to have them stay. We're giving them a significant increase. I mean, somebody making 16 change an hour, that's about 30% increase. That's a lot of money. And I understand where you're coming from too. And I'd love to find some other solution, but just to give everybody, because outside of the contract, we do have a contract with the union. Sort of cuts our flexibility a little bit, but there's ways to go around that. But no, it's unfortunate. I mean, whatever the board wants to do, but I think that we are on a good course, and if we decide to switch that over, just give it to them every 2 weeks, not fair to the other people who came and maybe left, or somebody just shows up and says, we're going to give you $22, give or take, $22 an hour. It's just not sustainable for a small town like us. And that's a major problem I think we're seeing in a number of other places. My friend, the supervisor in Broome, last I heard, he was down to 2 people. He may have gotten some more. I mean, it's rampant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's rampant everywhere. As a matter of fact, our starting salary is higher than the county's starting salary, which is surprising. They have a good union though, but it is that much more higher. Like $1 an hour, $1.25, something like that. They do make more with seniority over time. So, I mean, it was brought up by John a couple months ago that maybe it's time to take a look at other options. And I started to talk to, and I really probably didn't talk to the right person, but seeing about consolidation and sort of let that go because for the reasons that Bill had just mentioned about the best highway crew. They're really good guys.
We've got an excellent crew.
Yeah, you do, no question about it. And, you know, everybody has their reasons where they work, why they work. Their money's always the biggest driver, of course. And related to money is how much it costs you to get there these days, your benefits, the convenience of being closer to home. And we've talked about that before, what that is worth. But everybody's got their own values. And I thought that we put together and I still do, a $10,000 bonus for sticking around for the year. Maybe we tweak it again next year in a different way, different format. Yeah, fine, we learn. But our intentions were good, and except for one person who said they had to have the money now, we didn't get any complaints at the time. So that's all I have to say.
For this very reason, we need to keep that in place. Because if they're just gonna leave as soon as they find some money somewhere else, you know, if we give it to them up front, it's still not as much as he's telling us he's gonna get. He's an excellent operator, don't get me wrong. He's the same guy who left for supposedly the same kind of money a year ago. Went and worked for the same company he's going to work for now, but then came back to us at the old rate of pay. So there's obviously something more to this. This is not just dollars and cents. There's obviously a little something more to it that we're not privy to at this time. I would be opposed to just jumping in and throwing that bonus to people into their actual salary. I mean, those are the same guys who negotiated with the union to get the salaries that they're at. Now we're just following that. We're adding $10,000 to their income above and beyond what they negotiated in their meetings with the union. They will have a chance to renegotiate when that contract is up. You know, and this is not to be mean or nasty to anybody, but damn it, live up to your obligations. If you say you're going to do something, make sure your word's good. That's all.
I've spoken to other people that have similar situations and have union contracts. No one is going back and said, we want to raise midterm. Nobody. And as a matter of fact, the business agent it's probably your business agent too. No? Okay. Teamsters? Chuck?
17?
No, okay.
Chuck
291.
does for
291, yeah. Whatever, but anyway, when I told him what we wanted to do, quote, that is the best he's ever heard of, even better than the big companies like he has, like Arkansas's Best Freight. I mean, this is just a sideline for him. But he says, these guys should be doing cartwheels out in the parking lot for what we offered. I knew we had a problem, and the board stepped up generously. The only thing we asked is stick around for a full year and you'll get that check in December. Maybe we want to change it if we do it again, maybe 6 months and 6 months. I don't know. We can tweak that. But the point is, I think we've been extremely generous. And like Kelly says, something that we're not privy to. I mean, and I'm not meaning it in a nefarious way. It's just that
There's something else going on. I mean, young man, he's anxious to go and earn a good buck. But if he went there a year ago, and after 6 months he wasn't happy with what was going on there, came back to us, was willing to take the pay decrease to come back and work with us, and now all of a sudden he wants to leave us again. I mean, is this a ploy to just try and get us to throw more money at him? I don't know. I don't have that answer.
no, and we are under a contract.
Yeah.
So employees aren't going to work.
Yeah. I don't understand. I mean, I'm extremely sorry to see him go. I know firsthand he's an excellent mechanic, he's an excellent operator, love to keep him on here forever.
Yep.
But, you know, we can't make those decisions for him. And I never believed that throwing money at people was an answer to a labor problem.
Never. But I am going to take renew that conversation that I started about options. I mean, it's maybe the nuclear option, but it is an option if we have to. We can't keep it going. But I don't know. I mean, we just can't compete with private business. It just doesn't work. By the way, these companies like that he's going back to, very good, respectable company. Don't misunderstand me. What do they do in the winter when things are slow? They lay you off. We'll see you in the spring. You have a job for 12 months here. I think they do some plowing, but not enough to keep everybody employed, from what I've heard.
I have no idea.
So, anyway, there's nothing to vote on other than to accept Bill's report.
I'll make the motion to accept Bill's report.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. All right, I have a couple things. This is the supervisor's county report. Yeah, since it's the two of you, this is a lot. I only had two of these. One for me, one for you guys to look at.
We can't hear, are you?
Up until about 3 years ago, the county did not have any goals for the year. It was year to year to year and hoping to do it. So when I became the chairman, I said, any enterprise or organization should have goals, at least spending up to $90 million a year. You gotta have some goals. And one of them that we did this year that I challenged the board to do is to take a look at the sales tax distributions. In other words, the way this works is the county has a 4% sales tax. After the state robs us of about 1/4% for something that we didn't ask for. So the rent, and the rest goes to the county. And there is a, what's the word I'm looking for? There's 5% of that is pulled out of the 4% and distributed to the towns and villages based on population. Okay. We were getting, and this is based on current, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm so excited about the second part, I said population. It's based on assessment. They thought that at the time when this was done, oh gosh, 10, 12 years ago, probably longer, what they would do is your slice of the pie, the sales tax pie, would be the same as the size or slice of your assessment. So obviously Cobblestill's the biggest town, they have the highest assessment after it's adjusted after that ridiculous 1.5%, don't put that in. We are the second or third, we're the second least populated town, but we have the third lowest assessment. So we get a little bit extra. We were getting to, in 2020, we received, based on the old way, we got $29,733. And we depend on that, because if we don't get it, we have to do this property tax, and that hurts. So I challenged them to come back and say, it still works, leave it alone. If it doesn't work, we have a better way. And they came back with a hybrid, which says, keep the 5% based on assessment. However, the next 3%, 2.5% of that will go to the towns and villages based on population. So there were some winners and losers with that, but basically we're a little bit better than we were in terms of the slice of the pie. We're going to be getting 2.31% of that pie. That's about $12,372 a year in terms of our additional piece that'll come to us quarterly. So if the numbers hold true, and by the way, sales tax numbers are volatile. They go up, they go down. Right now they're way up. Part of that process is because about 2-3 years ago, the state said we're going to start charging people for interstate transactions on the internet. Well, that really benefited Schoharie County, particularly during the worst days of COVID, because people would go on Amazon or wherever and buy stuff. Now it was taxable based on the zip code. So we're really high. We're looking at about $42,000 at the run rate we're having now, which is good. Now on the flip side of this though, but it's still the right thing to do. This new formula is going to put $75,000 out there to the towns and villages. Now, the county's got to get that somewhere. Guess where they're going to get it? Property tax. So it's just, however, $75,000 on a $20 million budget doesn't hurt nearly as much as what we pay if we had to pay. It's $12,000 in our budget. We're $1 million budget. So everybody, well, almost everybody is happy. Can't make everybody happy. I mean, the mayor of Cobblestill, I think I told her, go big or go home. She went big, and she did end up going home. She wanted $2 million worth of that. And she had some arguments, but I also, and a few others, had counter arguments that we thought were pretty good and prevailed. So anyway, long story short, we can look forward to increased sales tax revenue next year. This starts next year. What else I have? Oh, county auctions. Saw Fred there. This would probably, no probably about it, the most lucrative auction that we've ever had. Talking to Mary Ann Wallaber, our treasurer, she expected about $500,000, which was basically an average year. Well, maybe it's a statement on the real estate business. Things are really high and people thought they could get good deals. We grossed $1.5 million, 200% more. Unheard of. In fact, people were willing to buy. I'm told that when people paid their down payments or wanted to pay right away, they had to send 2 deputies with the person from the Treasury Department because he had $90,000 in cash to deposit. But the story of local interest is obviously the Couchman House, which we had taken off and we got a good deal on. But 4 properties in Conesville led the way for being the most revenue to the county in the auctions of any other towns, including all the bigger ones. I mean, the church on Manor Road, or I'm sorry, Potter Mountain Road, went for $180,000. Amish people. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but. And then we have another one. The one next door went for $48,000, and there's one on Carrillo Road, a place that went for $35,000, and I don't know if for those of you know Warren and Nettie Schemerhorn, their place went for $35,000. So it is far more than we ever expected. And I saw a few friends there, and they wanted to bid on stuff, and I said, these prices are insane. They're insane. The guy ran out the door. But there was one comment that was made, and there's some truth to it, but that's not the way you do it. That a lot of the buyers were not local folks. They were people from outside the area. That these prices look like steals compared to where they came from. So, pretty interesting. I never dreamed that we would get that kind of money. I mean, personally, I shouldn't say it, but $180,000 was way out of line for that place. I mean, it needs a lot of work.
Is it empty? I mean, inside? Is it just a shell?
It has some. Well, it's like the Couchman House. It's built well, as the engineers say. It has bones.
It's big.
It's real big. I don't know what they're going to do with it. But a lot of these people are craftsmen. They may bring it back to life and sell it for a lot more. I don't think it's agricultural land.
No.
But they're Amish, and the interesting thing with him is he doesn't drive. He has a driver in his $100,000 truck. He's leading the humble life.
Interesting.
But anyway, that's my supervisor's county report, and I will take a motion to accept it.
I'll make it.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. All right, moving along. We have the supervisor's April 2022 financial report. I sent you a copy, but you also have a copy there, except for one thing, the one that I sent out. I had in there the May fund balance report, which is preliminary, which I keep just to see how things are going, but it's not 100% accurate until Kelly goes through the book, so I don't really release that until it's ready. So I put the April fund balance report on the last page instead of and took out the May. Other than that, it's all the same. We're in a pretty good position right now in the fund balance. About $975,000 in the bank, which is pretty good for $1 million budget. Big expenses coming up though with Iowa, obviously with the road and things like that. There's no questions. We'll entertain the April financial report motion.
Oh.
Fight that way, the only two.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Okay.
Any opposed? Carried. Okay. Moving along. We had the budget resolutions. Nothing there out of the ordinary, which is day-to-day business. I guess the most I'm not going to read them all, but the most noteworthy one is the need to increase the cost into the budget for the sale of the Couchman House to us, and that's $19,930.07. And that'll come out of the ARPA fund balance per the email I sent you guys. I did check with my contacts, who's the ARPA advisors for the Mohawk Valley Economic Development Group, and that's perfectly acceptable to come out of the ARPA money that we've gotten. So that's not going to hurt our budget. That doesn't mean we're not going to have some out-of-pocket expenses, but that's infrastructure. So, other than that, nothing super noteworthy. A lot of it's just, month-to-month stuff, adjustments. Anybody wants a copy of it, they're welcome to see it. I think that was also in the agenda that was sent out. And being a resolution, we need a roll call.
Supervisor Federici?
Aye. I wrote it, so I better say it. We know they're not here.
Councilman Proudman? Councilman Fancher? Councilman Smith?
Aye.
Councilwoman Matthijs?
Aye.
Okay. Passes. Okay. You probably recall last year we bought a loader for the highway department. The interest rates were so low, it didn't pay in fact, it was a lot cheaper, about $25,000 cheaper if we were to get a bond anticipation note, which is for those of you who don't know, bond anticipation note is good for 1 year at a time, up to 5 years. Either then you settle it, or you have to go to a serial bond, which is not good, because that's like 10 years. So we got an interest rate last time of 0.65%, which was like a pittance. However, as we all know, interest rates aren't what they used to be. And I understand next week they're looking at a 0.5 to a 1% increase in the rate that the Federal Reserve Bank does. That will impact us. We do owe, and it's in our budget, $35,957.20 principal payable July 14th, and $1,168.61. That's 0.65%. Those are the good old days. We're not going to see those. I did get a quote at 2.25%, and I suspect by July 14th it's going to be more. So we have a choice. I don't know where we're going to get the remaining principal, which is in the neighborhood of about $160,000. We could, but that would really hurt. We can pay the second year of the bond anticipation. That's my recommendation. I don't have a number for you. And when we meet on July 11th, it's kind of short to approve it and get the check cut and all the documents signed by July 14th. So what I would ask you to do is to give me the approval to pursue this. We got it, the payment that's due, that's done. There's nothing to discuss. We have to do that. But as long as the interest rate is both at 3% or below, because I don't think it's going to stay at 2%, everything that I'm hearing now. So if it stays at 3 or lower, I'm asking you to let me proceed, and we'll follow up with the formal approvals at the July 11th meeting. I mean, I don't know how else to do that. It's not in the calendar.
Yeah.
That's if you feel we should, I don't want to borrow money to pay a loan. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I would make a motion that we extend it for another year if we can keep it under 3%, and then we'll revisit it next year.
Say 3% below. It's a nice
3% or less.
Yes, thank you. So, and by the way, it's the Bank of Cooks. Actually, they're really good. I mean, nobody even comes close to them, and they're trying to get us to move our accounts, so they'll be a little bit humane to us. But it's basically what they have to pay out in interest, and they have a margin.
Okay.
So I don't know if we need a motion. Yeah, let's do a motion.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
What was that?
Second.
All those in favor?
Yeah, that's great.
So carried. All right. Bear with me. We talked a little bit about the Couchman House. Oh, we already talked about, I'm sorry. Conesville Historical Society. Just a little bit of a side discussion on that. Kim stole most of my thunder, if you want to call it thunder. But there's some good things going on. I'm really excited about, like today's meeting, new people showed up that are interested. Oh, it's all good. There'll be some growing pains, I think we all agree. We're learning our way through it. But, you know, it's not a town department or agency, but I look forward to the town working very close with the Historical Society. A lot of good people. Coachman House update. We already mentioned about the fact that there's not going to be a permissive referendum. So, that being the case, we're free to proceed. I've got a deed that the treasurer gave me, so we can sign that at any time, and I'll need a check for that amount that I just told you. I'd like to take it over to the treasurer's office on Friday when I'm over at the county and get the deed all taken care of. It's a quick claim deed, so there's nothing exciting about it in terms of all the where-to-fors and all that. So, and then the fun begins. And some of the more immediate things are, like to get insurance for the place. That's a must. We'll get our insurance carrier out there, take a look at it. We need to get an engineer's assessment of what needs to be done and what priority, and make sure we're also annoying Mr. Irwin to make sure we're within the code. Have you been in there yet?
No, look forward to it.
Oh, it has bones. I'll use that term again. It really does.
I bet it does.
But there's some cleanup that needs to be done. But it's all superficial, most of that cleanup. I mean, I guess it was a party house for a few years. There's a lot of bottles and beer cans and things like that. Nothing though. I mean, I don't see anything except maybe some hanging ceiling tiles, which aren't really true to the era that the place was built. They'll have to come down. Well, we have to get electricity. I'm not too concerned about heat right now because we're not going to occupy the place anytime soon. But I did talk to the person from the Mohawk Valley Economic Development Group that said she would come out there. She's a licensed engineer that looks mostly at things involving energy. And that's one of the things that we need to look at. She says she knows where we can get not 100% grants, but significant grants, which I'm excited about. And,
When you want heat in it before when?
hopefully, but I mean, it's been without heat now. I mean, at this point, it's when you turn it on and off, that's when it really gets bad. The quick changes, but no, it's not good. So yeah, I'd like to see if the current heating system maybe just needs to be, it's been sitting a long time, but see where that would take us in terms of then going out and getting something like a split system, something that's efficient. The way the state is going, I mean, they're declaring war on anything that burns oil or gas for heat, which is another story for another time. No, we don't. I get very passionate on that. So if you think I'm passionate, you don't see down here. Okay. What do I have next? Conesville Town Park resolution. And I will ask Carrie to read it because I did make a couple changes from the one I sent out.
Whereas the Conesville Town Park is a center for community activity and recreation, which is maintained by the town for the enjoyment of all residents and visitors. Further, whereas to maintain the quality of the Conesville Town Park, the town is committed to physically maintain the park to be safe and enjoyable place by all. Further, whereas in order to maintain orderly use of the park and the facilities there, and ensure the enjoyment of all who visit it, The town board hereby establishes the following park use requirements, many of which are already informally in place. Therefore, be it resolved that the following park use rules are placed into effect upon the adoption of this resolution. Users of the park are asked to be mindful of other persons using the park with the same respect that they would expect from others. The park is available dawn to dusk. Use of the park outside of those times should be registered with the town clerk. The park is a carry-in, carry-out location. Park visitors are to take out any litter they generate. Young children using playground equipment should do so in the presence of an adult. Smoking, alcohol consumption, and the use of recreational cannabis is prohibited. No political activity or campaigning is to be done at the park. Posting of political and commercial signs is prohibited. Other than highway legal vehicles which are to be parked on the park grounds adjacent to the State Route 990B, no other motor vehicles are permitted in the park with the exception of town-owned vehicles and those providing service contracted by the town. Events or gatherings are welcome. Events or gatherings should be scheduled through the town clerk to avoid potential conflicts, especially the use of the park pavilion. Commercial events are permitted if registered with the town clerk, accompanied by a certificate of insurance naming the town of Conesville as an additionally insured party.
That's it. Comments?
What about parking? Like they park on.
Yeah, and that's what this is just saying, in other words, park adjacent to Route 990B. That means don't drive to the other side of the field.
Okay.
I never seen it, but it was suggested, and I thought it was a good idea to put that in there. That was a good idea. Anything else? Rich?
I actually have a question, a general question. Are the rules enforceable, and if so, how?
Right now, we're not putting any fines or anything like that, but we will if we have to. At least this is codified in the sense that this is what you need to do.
Hopefully if there's a sign up, everybody will just follow it. And
Yeah, and we haven't had any.
It's a town park, we haven't had an issue out there. We're hoping it remains that way.
And one of the reasons that I thought it was a good idea, I've been thinking it for a while, is that we have an influx of a lot of new people. And you get calls once in a while, Carrie, don't you? Can I use the park? What's it for? And they're surprised at how open we are in terms of, I guess it wasn't too open where they came from. Okay. Motions.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Is this a
So
resolution?
this is a roll.
Oh, it is a resolution. Damn it. Okay, go ahead.
Darn it.
Supervisor Federici.
Aye. Oh, by the way, I made the you two guys made the motion in second. Go ahead. Supervisor Federici. Aye.
Councilperson Fancher. Councilperson Mattice.
Aye.
Councilperson Proudman. Councilperson Smith.
Aye.
Motion is passed. Next one's, I think we're in the home stretch here. No, really. JCAP grant. You see, you may have noticed that we painted this room, ceilings and walls, did the hallways, and we also did mine and Kelly's office as well as Marie's office and the washroom restroom. And they did a really nice job. That's not part of the JCAP grant, that's our money, but I thought it was ridiculous not to do the floor, which is next, without painting the walls and so the contractor that's doing the floor has been told to get going, and of course you can't just tell a contractor to be here tomorrow. That's not right, because we hadn't given him the, I'll say, the award of the business until a couple of weeks ago. So he knows he's going to work it in there. He's going to put a good hard epoxy paint down on this floor here. What really concerned me more than anything else was you see some spaces and so forth with some of this stuff. He's going to have that filled in with the epoxy paint. Hopefully it'll do a much better job and hold up better than whatever this stuff is now. You can see it's open, it's pretty solid. I don't know how old it is though. The riser, that was, by the way, the floor was part of the grant. There's something called a riser, so the judge can be a little bit higher. I guess when this was built, it doesn't suit this judge, but she's pretty tall. But anyway, that's been done. The carpentry work has been done. That also is part of it. And in terms of anything else, and then we're going out to bid with the heating system, and I hope we'll have quotes. No guarantee in this environment, but we'll have quotes for the split system that we're going to get. They awarded us $9,000, and for sure it's going to be more than $9,000. So that'll be for the rest of the building, and it will also be on us, meaning the town, not part of the grant. Also, we'll be getting rid of these doors. The locks on these doors is going to be digital, and which can be changed at any time, which is nice. Anyway, that's where we are. We do have a deadline on that because they take the money away from you, unless you have a good reason, and we have a contractor that can't get the unit for the heating. I would hope that they'll understand. Okay. We haven't had a youth baseball team for 2 years. And what drove that was COVID. But there are a lot of people, I understand parents and children that do want to play. So Nick Cadimo is organizing a team to play 8 games in July. And it's been our practice for that to be a town-sponsored team. And we would appoint the coach. So. And Nick's a good guy. He likes coaching kids. He does soccer. So I'm recommending that we appoint Nick Cadimo, Charles, formally, to be the youth baseball coach in 2022. I've already ordered equipment, baseballs and stuff. Yeah. We have a motion from Lori.
I'll second it.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Point of clarification, could you spell his last name for me, please?
C is in Charles, U, D is in Delta, E, M, O, Cadimo.
Thank you.
And, okay, we did that. We had the annual tire day. I'd like to do it the second Saturday in July. Enough people have asked me about it. We did it August, I think, last year. Maybe it was September, I forget. But enough people are interested in it, so why not? We're going to do it once a year anyway. And the last couple of years I haven't asked for a motion on it because it's already in our organization that we'll do it once a year. But if you want to make a motion for July 9th, that's good too.
That's the 9th?
Yeah. So, and we'll put notices out all around town.
I'll make a motion.
All righty.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried. I already talked about the highway service update. Like I said, I'm going to look into that. Does the board members have, all 2 of you, have any thing that they want to add or discuss?
I didn't bring anything.
Okay. And by the way, this, we're not having an executive session for the dog board. Yeah, but you had already left, and I didn't want to reinvent the wheel, so let's let it stay. That's okay. I've done that a million times. Remember, I put the fund balance report for May instead of April with the April report, so I'm in good company. Okay.
I'll make
Take
a
a motion to review the invoices.
I'll make that.
Okay, and then after that, we are going to adjourn.
Oh, second.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?